Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Tanvi Taneja, and with me is Renuka R.S. with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India's energy will energize the world. Inaugurates the 4th India Energy Forum. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh meets US Secretary of Defence Dr. Mark Esper in New Delhi ahead of the 2+2 ministerial dialogue tomorrow. Campaigning for 71 seats in first phase of Bihar Assembly elections comes to a close. BJP sweeps 6th General Council elections of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 90.23%. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focusing on hand hygiene and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India's energy will energize the world. Inaugurating the 4th India Energy Forum by CeraVec, Mr. Modi said that energy security is at the core of our efforts and the country's energy future is bright and secure.
This year has been challenging for the energy sector. Energy demand fell by almost 1/3. There has been price instability. Leading global bodies project that there will be a contraction in global energy demand over the next few years also. But these agencies project India to emerge as a leading energy consumer. India is set to nearly double its energy consumption over the long term.
The Prime Minister said that a self-reliant India will also be a force multiplier for the world economy. Mr. Modi said with a smaller carbon footprint, our energy sector will be growth-centric, industry-friendly and environment-conscious. He said that is why India is one of the most active nations in furthering renewable sources of energy. He said India's energy plans aim to ensure energy justice while fully following our global commitments for sustainable goals. Mr. Modi said India is the 3rd largest and the fastest growing aviation market in terms of domestic aviation.
India is the 3rd largest and the fastest growing aviation market in terms of domestic aviation. Indian carriers are projected to increase their fleet size from 600 to 1200 by 2024.
The Prime Minister said India will always work keeping in mind global goals and we are well on track to meet the commitment we made to the global community.
India will always work keeping in mind global good. We are well on track to meet the commitment we made to the global community. We had aimed to increase the renewable energy installed capacity by 175 gigawatt by 2022. We have further extended this goal to 450 gigawatt by 2030. India has one of the lowest carbon emissions than the rest of the industrialized world.
The Prime Minister further said the country's refining capacity will increase from about 250 to 400 million metric tons per annum by 2025, and increasing domestic gas production has been a government priority as well. He said the government has planned to achieve one nation, one gas grid and shift towards a gas-based economy. The Prime Minister said in the last 6 years, over 11 million smart LED street lights were installed, and this has enabled an estimated energy saving of 60 billion units per year. He said the estimated greenhouse gas emission reduction with this program is over 4.5 crore tons of carbon dioxide annually. He said we also save around 24,000 crore rupees annually from the same. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held bilateral delegation-level meeting with US counterpart Mark Esper this evening. The 2 ministers reviewed bilateral defence cooperation spanning military-to-military cooperation, secure communication systems and information sharing, defense trade and industrial issues. They also discussed ways to take bilateral cooperation forward. Both ministers also expressed satisfaction that agreement of BECA will be signed during the visit. The U.S. Secretary of Defense welcomed Australia's participation in the exercise Malabar 2020. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh elaborated upon the initiatives under the Atmanirbhar Bharat to encourage investments in the defence industry in India and invited U.S. companies to avail of the liberalised policies and the favourable defence industry ecosystem in India. The Defence Minister said India is delighted to host Secretary Esper. In a tweet, Mr. Singh said their talks today were fruitful and aimed at further deepening defence cooperation in a wide range of areas. He said today's discussions will add new vigour to India-US defence relations and mutual cooperation. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, Army Chief General Manoj Naravane, Chief of Air Staff Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhaduria and Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh were among those present during the delegation-level bilateral meeting. The U.S. Defence Secretary also inspected the Tri-Service Guard of Honour at the South Block Lawns in New Delhi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also met his U.S. counterpart Mike Pompeo this evening. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla met and welcomed U.S. Under Secretary of State Brian Bulatao, who is part of Secretary Pompeo's delegation for the 2+2 Ministerial Dialogue. The third annual India-US 2+2 Ministerial Dialogue, scheduled for tomorrow, will focus on advancing the Indo-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership and further strengthening cooperation to promote stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region and the world. As the world's oldest and largest democracies, the two countries nourish deep-rooted democratic traditions and bond. The third ministerial dialogue, in just over 2 years' span, demonstrates high-level commitment by both the countries towards the shared diplomatic and security objectives. Secretary Pompeo and Esper will also meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi tomorrow afternoon after the 2+2 ministerial meeting. They will also be making a visit to the War Memorial in the national capital tomorrow morning for a wreath-laying ceremony.
In Bihar, campaigning for the first phase of state assembly elections in 71 constituencies ended today. Polling will be held in these constituencies, spread over 16 districts on Wednesday. In this phase, several constituencies are Naxal affected and sensitive from security point of view. In the first phase, total 1,066 candidates are in fray and over 2.14 crore electorates are eligible to exercise their franchisee. Gaya district has the maximum number of voters, where 29,49,000 electorate will decide the fate of total 172 candidates in 10 segments. In this phase, BJP is contesting from 29 seats, JDU from 35 and Hindustani Awam Morcha HAM from 6 assembly seats. The Vikashsheel Insan Party VIP has fielded one candidate. On the other hand, from the Grand Alliance, RJD is contesting from 42 seats, while Congress has fielded 21 candidates. The CPI-ML has 8 candidates in fray. A large number of rebels are contesting against their authorized party candidates. Lok Janshakti Party, which is contesting on 41 seats, has given tickets to several rebel leaders. Upendra Kushwaha-led Rashtriya Lok Samata Party, RLSP, has also fielded 40 candidates. Political fortunes of 8 cabinet ministers, including Prem Kumar, Ram Narayan Mandal and Jay Kumar Singh, will be decided in this phase. More from our correspondent.
Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed 3 public meetings in this phase. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also held election rallies in support of Grand Alliance candidates over the issue of employment, farm reform legislations, corruption and misrule allegation and counter-allegation were exchanged. JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, CM candidate of Grand Alliance Tejaswi Prasad Yadav, held multiple election rallies back-to-back on a single day. LJP Chief Chirag Paswan and RLSP Chief Upendra Kushwaha tried to corner Nitish Kumar over the issue of education, health and migrant people. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
In Ladakh, the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) swept Nubra region in the 6th General Council elections of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council (Leh). Our correspondent reports that BJP candidates have been declared winners in Diskit, Turtuk, Tegar, Panamik and Hundar constituencies in the Nubra region. Besides, the BJP also claimed Thangse, Korzok and Martselong, Kungyam and in Thikse. Congress candidates Sonam Thardos in Igu and Rigzin Sering in Sakse constituency were declared winners. Independent candidate Konchok Stanzin was declared winner in Chushul, while another independent, Ishe Spalzang, has also won the Nyoma seat. For more information on the election results in Ladakh, we will now interact with our Leh correspondent Ramesh Chandra. Ramesh, please update us on the latest results of the counting. How did the parties fare in the General Council elections?
Yes, Tanvi. After a day-long counting process, BJP won the majority seats to form 6th General Council in LHDC Leh with 15 seats out of 26 council constituencies. Of course, Congress party fared better than the 5th General Council with 9 seats in its kitty. 2 independents also won the election in Chushul and Nyoma constituencies. These are all bordering constituencies.
Okay, and after a couple of days, it will be the first anniversary of Ladakh after being declared as a union territory. How important is this General Council elections in that context? Also tell us about the measures that were taken during this election process.
Of course, Tanvi, UT administration is now preparing for its first anniversary as Young Union Territory Ladakh. As Autonomous Hill Development Councils, Leh and Kargil are now feeling more empowered both financially and administratively under Union Territory with non-lapsable funds and increased budgets along with the special development package for people of Ladakh. There are more hopes on Hill Council. Keeping this in view, Leh Election Authority have taken precautions to conduct the elections peacefully and COVID-safe at every stage from campaign to training, polling and counting. Yes, Tanvi.
Thank you, Ramesh, for that update.
In Karnataka, the election campaign for the 4 seats of State Legislative Council and 2 Assembly seats is at its peak. The election for the council seats will be held on 28th of October and the Assembly by-polls will be on 3rd of November. Addressing a press meet in Bengaluru today, the Union Minister and senior BJP leader Sadananda Gowda said that the new education policy, Atmanirbhar Bharat program and Skill India initiatives of the Union government will bring about massive transformation in education and human resource development sector. The announcement of package worth 20 lakh crore rupees by the central government, he added, has been providing free food grains to the poor and needy. On the other hand, the leader of opposition in Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, has asked the state government to call a session of Legislative Assembly to discuss the flood and relief measures being carried out in North Karnataka districts. India has achieved a significant milestone in its fight against COVID as the national recovery rate has reached 90.23%. With overall recovery of over 71,37,000 patients so far, the recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 11 times more than the active cases. Nearly 60,000 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, whereas the new confirmed cases reported in the same time span stood at nearly 45,000. The active caseload of the country also keeps decreasing and stands presently below 8.5%. The total positive cases in the country today is 6,53,717, which comprises nearly 8.26% of the total reported cases. With large number of COVID patients recovering every day along with the steadily falling and sustained low mortality rate, India's trend of registering decreasing active cases continues. The Health Ministry said that enhanced countrywide medical infrastructure, implementation of the centre's standard treatment protocol by the states and union territories, and total dedication and commitment of doctors, paramedics, and frontline workers have led to a persistent increase in the number of total recoveries in the country. It said this has also led to a commensurate dip in the fatality rate, which stands at 1.50%. The Health Ministry informed that 480 case fatalities were reported in the past 24 hours, of which nearly 80% are concentrated in 10 states and union territories. During the last 24 hours, over 9,39,000 COVID samples were tested in the country. With this, the cumulative testing figure has further risen to nearly 10 crore 35 lakhs.
In Maharashtra, the rates of corona tests in private labs have been further revised and they have been reduced by 200 rupees. Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope made this announcement today. According to him, the state is trying to increase the number of tests and give more relief to common people in the state for timely treatment. More from our correspondent.
Due to the efforts of the state government, the tests are becoming affordable and more people are coming forward to get tested for corona and simultaneously ensuring the safety of themselves as well as of other people in their close contact. With the reduction of 200 rupees, now the cost of corona test has come down to less than 1000 rupees. Now the lab test will cost rupees 980, whereas in COVID centers, hospitals and quarantine centers, it will cost 1400 rupees, while testing for the samples collected from home will cost 1800 rupees. Health Minister Rajesh Tope has said the government has given priority to the common man for the corona treatment and continuously reducing the cost of the test as well as the treatment in the state. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
Kerala confirmed 4,287 new COVID cases today. In all, 7,107 people recovered from the infection today. 20 more deaths were reported due to COVID, taking the death toll in the state to 1,352. Presently, the total active cases in the state is 93,744. Nagaland reported 37 positive cases of COVID-19 today, taking the total tally of the state to 8,663. Health and Family Welfare Minister S. Phangnuphom in a tweet this evening informed that 28 cases were detected from Kohima, 8 in Dimapur and 1 in Mon. Out of 38 registered deaths in the state, 27 people have succumbed to the infection. 6 deaths are not COVID-related, while 5 deaths are under investigation. At present, there are 1,833 active cases in the state, while 72 cases have migrated.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India's energy will energize the world. Inaugurate the 4th India Energy Forum. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh meets US Secretary of Defence Dr. Mark Esper in New Delhi ahead of 2+2 ministerial dialogue tomorrow. Campaigning for 71 seats in first phase of Bihar Assembly elections comes to a close. BJP sweeps 6th General Council elections of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 90.23%. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Union Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh said that the male employees of the government are also now entitled to the child care leave. However, Dr. Singh said that the provision and privilege of the child care leave, CCL, will be available only for those male employees who happen to be single male parent, which may include male employees who are either widowers or divorcees or even unmarried and may therefore be expected to take up the responsibility of childcare as single-handed parent. Describing it as a path-breaking and progressive reform to bring ease of living for government servants, Dr. Singh said the orders regarding this had been issued quite some time back but somehow did not receive enough circulation in the public. In a further relaxation to this provision, the minister informed that the employee on childcare leave may now leave the headquarters with the prior approval of the competent authority. In addition, the leave travel concession LTC may be availed by the employee even if he is on childcare leave. Elaborating further, he informed that childcare leave can be granted at 100% of the leave salary for the first 365 days and 80% of the leave salary for the next 365 days.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the beneficiaries of PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi, PM Swanidhi scheme from Uttar Pradesh tomorrow via video conferencing. Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh will also be present on the occasion. PM Swanidhi scheme was launched on 1st of June this year to help poor street vendors impacted by COVID-19 resume livelihood activities. Till date, a total of more than 24 lakh applications have been received under the scheme, out of which more than 12 lakh have been sanctioned and about 5.35 lakh loans have been disbursed. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, people are celebrating 73rd anniversary of accession of J&K with Indian Union today. October 26 marks the red letter day in Indian history as Maharaja Hari Singh, the then ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, signed the instrument of accession with the Union of India, which paved a way for merger of the princely state with India. On this day, several functions were organized to celebrate the accession. Importantly, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir observed a public holiday today for the first time since independence. A massive function was organized at Tagore Hill in Srinagar, which commenced by garlanding the frames of Maharaja Hari Singh, Bharat Mata and Maqbool Sherbani. It was followed by Tiranga rally led by BJP General Secretary and in charge for Kashmir, Vibod Gupta, and BJP Vice President and co-in-charge Kashmir, Sophie Yusuf, which began from Tagore Hall and concluded at Kashmir International Convention Centre, Srinagar. Mr. Sophie expressed gratitude to the people of Valley for joining the Tiranga rally and said that proud to see that people from diverse sections have come together in the Valley to join the peace and prosperity mission of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In Jammu, Bharatiya Janata Party organized a series of functions to celebrate the accession day. Apart from hoisting tricolour in entire Jammu, the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha activists took out a bike rally to celebrate the day. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has condemned the statement of Mehbooba Mufti on the national flag, saying that insult of the tricolour is absolutely unacceptable. In a tweet today, Mr. Javadekar said, "The tricolour is the pride and identity of India." In her recent remark, PDP chief and former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mehbooba Mufti, said she will hoist national flag after the flag of Jammu and Kashmir is restored. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist was killed in an encounter that broke out between terrorists and security forces in Noorpora village in Avantipora area of South Kashmir's Pulwama district this evening. Police sources said that a joint team of security forces launched a cordon search operation in Noorpora following intelligence inputs about the presence of terrorists in the village. Meanwhile, the joint operation in the area was going on when reports last came in. Further details are awaited. The nation celebrates 145th birth anniversary of India's Iron Man, Sardar Patel, on 31st of October. The day is also earmarked as Rashtriya Ekta Divas across the country. In the run-up to the event, All India Radio News brings you select excerpts from the speeches of the Iron Man of India from its archives.
हमारा कर्तव्य ये है कि हमें निश्चय कर लेना चाहिए कि हमें हिंदुस्तान में जितने लोग हैं सबको मिल के भाई भाई की तरह के रहना है। हिंदू हो, मुसलमान हो, सिख हो, पारसी हो, ईसाई हो, सबको यही समझना चाहिए कि ये हमारा मुल्क है।
This is All India Radio giving you the news.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
The Uttar Pradesh government has decided to establish anti-human trafficking police stations in each and every district in a major step towards the security of women and children. These police stations will be given enough powers to register the case and investigate the matter independently. More from a correspondent.
State government is going to establish 40 new anti-human trafficking units which will work like police stations in districts and will conduct investigation after registering the cases. Earlier, only 35 districts in the state had police stations of anti-human trafficking unit which were established in 2011 and 2018. The new police stations are being established after directives from Women's Safety Division of Union Government. Central government has also allocated funds for these units. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Maharashtra, onion auctions did not take place in all the Agricultural Produce Market Committee APMC yards in Nashik district today in the backdrop of export ban and stock limit of onions by the centre. There was no official announcement or no letter was issued by the traders or the onion producers associations about the sudden halt in auctions. The administration work was normal in the market, but no auctions were held in the market. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari will lay the foundation stones of 9 national highway projects in Tripura tomorrow. The total length of these highways will be 262 kilometers, which will provide faster and hassle-free interstate and international connectivity to Bangladesh. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that Phase 7 of Vande Bharat mission will begin from Thursday, the 29th of October. In a tweet today, Mr. Puri said there will be more destinations, flights and bubble arrangements. The campaign for US presidential elections has entered its final phase. President Trump said that there has been progress in combating coronavirus. On the other hand, Joe Biden alleged that the Trump administration was surrendering to the pandemic. COVID-19 has claimed over 225,000 lives in the United States so far. President Trump will be visiting the crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Arizona and Nevada in the coming days.
In IPL cricket, put into bat, Kolkata Knight Riders were 115 for 7 in 16 overs against Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah when reports last came in. This match will decide the 4th position in the points table for the playoffs. Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, Royal Challengers Bangalore have already qualified with 14 points each for the playoffs. Yesterday, Rajasthan Royals' 8-wicket win over defending champion Mumbai Indians at Dubai has shattered Chennai Super Kings' hopes of sealing a late playoff berth. This is the first time in history of IPL that 3-time champions Chennai failed to qualify for the playoffs. In tomorrow's fixture, Sunrisers Hyderabad to clash with Delhi Capitals in Dubai.
The southwest monsoon is all set to withdraw from Odisha during the next 48 hours. According to the Bhubaneswar-based Meteorological Centre, the southwest monsoon has withdrawn fully from 8 districts and partially from another 8 districts of the state as of today. Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will be experiencing mist. The temperature will hover between 14 and 33 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be partly cloudy. The lower level of temperature in the metropolis will be 26 and the upper level will be around 32. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will oscillate between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature in Kolkata will be 24 and the maximum will be around 32. Jammu and Srinagar cities will have mainly clear sky. In Jammu, the minimum temperature will be 15 while maximum will be 31. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be 2 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 21. Leh will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be -2 while the maximum will be nearly 14 degrees. Gilgit will witness mainly clear sky with temperature moving from 6 to 20 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the lower limit of temperature will be 14 while upper limit will be around 31 degrees. The sky will be mainly clear. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 13 and 31 degrees Celsius. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with haze. The temperature is likely to vary between 23 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees. Ahmedabad is expected to have mainly clear sky. The city will have minimum temperature of 22 degrees and maximum will be around 36 degrees. And now, before we close, here are the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India's energy will energize the world. Inaugurates the 4th India Energy Forum. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh meets US Secretary of Defense Dr. Mark Esper in New Delhi ahead of the 2+2 ministerial dialogue tomorrow. Campaigning for 71 seats in the first phase of Bihar Assembly elections comes to a close. BJP sweeps 6th General Council elections of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 90.23%. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders take on Kings 11 Punjab in Sharjah. And for details of these stories, you can always log on to our website www.newsonair.com. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.